Some months ago, local man Harry Cullen was walking along this area, a coastal path that he knows really well. We're about maybe 300 or 400 yards from the Pitts Paddock area of the International Northwest 200 circuit. And Harry stopped. His attention was caught by a feature in the landscape here just behind where we're standing now. Harry, let me ask you first of all to tell us something about this feature that caught your attention.
Well, it was an arrowhead. Obviously it was an arrow, but it was all overgrown. So when I looked it up, I found it to be a bomb range indicator going back to the last war. And a little bit of history suggested that off the coast here were pontoons anchored, and bombers from Limavady and Alou used to practice dropping smoke bombs to target there and zero in their sights.
So you're telling me, Harry, that aircraft, bombers would literally have screamed across where we're standing now, following the direction of this arrow?
Yes, a good friend of mine who revived my memory about it, Graham Lowe, used to live in the last house. It was brought up in the last house in Millbank Avenue, and his mother said that bombers used to literally go over the roof of her house down now.
And what sort of condition was the arrow in?
The arrowhead was visible under a lot of debris, but the rest of the arrow was under grass and scrubs.
And why did it need to be tidied up? What do you think was the reason for getting it tidied up?
Well, the second thing that interested me was a documentary by Dan Snow in BBC Two, Dig World War II, that featured the aircraft and bombers at Annaloo. And I thought on the anniversary of VE Day, it would be nice to resurrect it on the coastal path as a point of interest.
Now, it's quite a substantial length. I've just paced it out. It's something like 60 feet or 20 odd metres long. Who were the people locally who helped to get it back to sort of pristine condition?
Well, I thought of putting together a team of local people who contribute so much to this area. So I approached the golf club and the greenkeepers, and Bernard Finlay, the head greenkeeper, organised 5 of his greenkeepers after hours, voluntary, to clean it up, which was a massive job.
And we've got a set of marker stones, if you like, right round the arrow or the arrowhead. What's the next step for this feature?
Well, the second step, once the greenkeepers had cleaned it up, was I contacted the scout leaders of 1st Portstewart Scout Group, and they came down and they gathered the stones up and put them around the perimeter. Following that, I contacted Cathal Canning, the Chief Marshal of Northwest 200 and the Supporters Club, because I thought that they were experts at painting stones and curbs. So they kindly come down and painted the stones for us.
Some might say there are those in this part of the world or in Northern Ireland who are very good at painting curbs at other times of the year. But for now, Harry, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Local historian Keith Beattie, formerly with Ballymoney Museum, joins me now. Keith Beattie, set in context for me the importance of this arrow so close to the coastline here.
Well, the bombing exercises would have taken place here along this coastline. You'd have bombers flying in, getting into practice and picking up the skills they needed to go into conflict. And it would have been a busy situation here. There's at least one Wellington bomber I know crashed at Port Ballantrae in bad weather during an exercise. All 6 were lost. So the people around here would have been very used to it, but it would have been vital to the war effort.
And the people around here might also have been used to seeing American GIs.
That's correct. The GIs arrived here. The largest contingent arrived in December 1943, and they came here. They were billeted in the guest houses and the hotels. There were 2,000 of them, and they were here for several months now. When they arrived, of course, that's a lot of people to arrive at once. They ingratiated themselves, shall we say, with in many ways. They spent money in the local businesses. They organised a Christmas party for the young people. Each GI brought some of the children down to Barry's.
Yes, I remember seeing Facebook photographs of that event.
Yeah, it's quite a famous Christmas story. And in March 1944, overnight on the 11th of March, they very quietly left. And the next the people around here would have known of them would have been the 6th of June, when the D-Day landing started and they stormed Normandy. And
Keith, am I right in saying that this is not the only World War II evidence that's available to see in this area?
No, indeed. There's pillboxes in Portrush, There's old pillboxes from World War II along Portstewart Strand as well. These would have been built about 1940-41 at the time when the risk of German invasion was most relevant. And there's, apart from the war memorials, there's various other things that people can come here and see.
And just finally on those pillboxes, what was the point of a pillbox?
Mainly observational. There would have been no large guns there, it would have just been small arms, people in there observing, and if at the event of a landing, it would have just been a case of trying to hold things off until more help arrived.
Keith Beattie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And my thanks to both Keith and Harry for drawing to our attention the importance of the arrowhead which is behind me. Make for a wonderful afternoon out for the family to come and have a look at a piece of our own local history here, as well as those pillboxes that Keith mentioned too. For Causeway Coast Radio, in a rather blowy Portstewart, I'm Denis McNeill.